Download this code from codegive.com, link in the description below. OK, let's dive into a comprehensive tutorial on creating the Block 37, 2024 Scrappy Sampler Mystery Block of the Week. This guide will break down the pattern, walk you through fabric selection, cutting, piecing, and offer troubleshooting tips, along with a code example, using Python for pattern generation, should you choose to automate some steps. Understanding the mystery block concept. Mystery block of the week projects are popular because they add an element of surprise and excitement to quilting. Typically, the pattern for one small block is released each week for a set period, like a year. The fun comes from working with different fabrics, piecing styles, and seeing how all the blocks come together at the end to form a cohesive quilt. Since Block 37 is likely part of a larger set, the challenge is integrating it with the others in terms of color, scale, and overall aesthetic. Assumptions and preliminary considerations. Pattern release. This tutorial assumes you have access to the specific pattern for Block 37, 2024, from the designated source. The tutorial will provide instructions based on a typical block construction with a focus on scrappy fabrics. Without the specific instructions, you will need to adjust this code to align to the specs in your block. Seam allowance. Will assume a standard 1/4 inch seam allowance throughout. This is crucial for accurate piecing. Fabric selection, the scrappy part. This is where the fun begins. The beauty of a scrappy quilt is that it uses up fabric remnants and leftovers, creating a unique and personal piece. However, scrappy doesn't mean completely random. Consider these factors. Color palette. Establish a general color palette. Do you want a warm, cool, neutral, or vibrant quilt? Even within a palette, you can vary shades and tints. Value. Value refers to the lightness or darkness of a fabric. A good scrappy quilt has a range of values to create contrast and visual interest. Include lights, mediums, and darks. Scale. Use fabrics with varying print sizes. Mix small, medium, and large prints to avoid a monotonous look. Fabric base. Try to stick to similar fabric types, all cotton, for example. This will affect shrinkage and how the quilt drapes. Fabric quantity. As this is a scrappy project, you should be using fabrics from your stash. For one block, you'll typically need small pieces of several fabrics, fat eighths or even smaller. General construction of a quilt block. Before we get to the specific block, let's go over the basic principles of creating a quilt block. Most quilt blocks can be broken down into these components. 1. Cutting the fabrics. Accurately cutting the pieces is essential for successful piecing. 2. Piecing the elements. Piecing involves sewing the individual fabric pieces together to create smaller units. This often involves straight seams. The most basic seam. Half square triangles, HSDs. 2 squares sewn together diagonally and cut apart to create 2 triangles. Flying geese. A larger rectangle with 2 smaller triangles attached to the sides. Square in a square. A smaller square centered within a larger square. 3. Assembling the block. Once the elements are pieced, they're sewn together to form the final block. 4. Pressing. Pressing is a crucial step. Press seams open or to one side as needed to reduce bulk and create flat blocks. Block 37, hypothetical pattern, adapt to yours. Let's imagine Block 37 is a variation of a friendship star block with some added scrappy flair. The block finishes at 12 inches square, finished means without seam allowances. The final block size is 12.5 inches. Fabric requirements, example. Since this is Scrappy, these are guidelines. Adjust as needed. Asterisk background fabric asterisk approximately 1/4 yard, for the star points and any sashing within the block. Asterisk star fabric 1 asterisk fat quarter. Asterisk star fabric 2 asterisk fat quarter. Asterisk center square fabric asterisk scrap piece. Asterisk corner square fabric asterisk scrap pieces. Cutting instructions, example. Remember to adjust based on your specific pattern. Asterisk background fabric asterisk. Asterisk 4 squares, 3.5 inches x 3.5 inches, 4 corner squares. Asterisk 4 squares, 2.5 inches x 2.5 inches, 4 HSDs. Asterisk star fabric 1 asterisk. Asterisk 4 squares, 2.5 inches x 2.5 inches, 4 HSDs. Asterisk 1 square, 4.5 inches x 4.5 inches, 4 center flying geese. Asterisk star fabric 2 asterisk. Asterisk 1 square, 4.5 inches x 4.5 inches, 4 center flying geese. Asterisk 1 square, 4.5 inches x 4.5 inches, center square. Asterisk corner fabric asterisk. Asterisk 4 squares, 2.5 inches x 2.5 inches. Piecing instructions, example. 1/2 square triangles, HSDs. Asterisk pair 1 background 2.5 square with 1 star fabric 1 2.5 square, right sides together. Asterisk draw a diagonal line on the back of the lighter fabric, background fabric. Asterisk sew 1/4 inch on either side of the drawn line. Asterisk cut along the drawn line. Asterisk you now have 2 HSDs, press them open, pressing the seam allowance toward the darker fabric. Asterisk trim the HSDs to 2 inches square. Asterisk repeat this process to create a total of 8 HSDs. Asterisk this process requires the use of 1 background fabric and 1 star fabric for each HST. 2 piecing the star points asterisk. Asterisk sew 2 HSDs together to create a small square unit with star fabric on either side. Asterisk repeat to create 4 units. 3 constructing the flying geese asterisk. Asterisk cut the squares in half diagonally. Asterisk place 1 triangle from each fabric onto 1 square as the center and sew. 4 assembling the block asterisk. Asterisk arrange the components as follows. Asterisk top row, corner fabric square, star point, corner fabric square. Asterisk second row, star point, flying geese, star point. Asterisk third row, star point, flying geese, star point. Asterisk bottom row, corner fabric square, star point, corner fabric square. Asterisk sew the units into rows. Asterisk sew the rows together to complete the block. Pressing instructions. Asterisk press all seams open unless otherwise specified. Asterisk press each completed row before sewing rows together. Asterisk give the entire block a final press after assembly. Troubleshooting tips. Asterisk accuracy is key. Asterisk double check your cutting measurements. A slight inaccuracy can compound throughout the block. Asterisk consistent seam allowance. Asterisk use a 1/4 inch seam allowance consistently. Asterisk fabric distortion. Asterisk be careful not to stretch the fabric while sewing, especially bias edges, diagonal edges of triangles. Asterisk pressing issues. Asterisk if your block is not lying flat, check your pressing. Sometimes a bit of steam can help. Asterisk block size inconsistency. Asterisk if your block is too small, you may be losing fabric in the seams. If it's too large, your seam allowance may be too wide. Reevaluate your stitching accuracy. Python code example, Pattern generation, adapt to your pattern. This is a basic example. You'd need to adapt it based on your specific block's geometry. This code provides a framework for automating fabric calculation and potentially cutting layout. It can't sew for you, though. Explanation of the code asterisk. 1 quilt block class asterisk. Asterisk underscore underscore init underscore underscore, initializes the block with its finished size and seam allowance. Asterisk calculate underscore cut underscore size, a helper function that takes the finished size of a piece and calculates the cutting size, accounting for the seam allowance. Asterisk finished underscore size, the desired final size of the block excluding seam allowances. Asterisk block underscore size, the overall size of the cut block, including seam allowances. 2 friendship star block class asterisk. Asterisk inherits from quilt block, so it has the size and seam allowance properties. Asterisk print underscore cutting underscore instructions, this is the key method. It contains the logic for calculating the sizes of the fabric pieces needed to construct the block based on example pieces. This will need to be modified to align with your pattern. It then prints these instructions. Asterisk HST underscore square underscore cut equals self dot calculate underscore cut underscore size, HST underscore finished asterisk 1.414, the 1.414 multiplier is an approximation of the square root of 2, which is used to determine the size of the squares needed to make HSTs. 3 main execution asterisk. Asterisk creates an instance of the friendship star block class. Asterisk calls the print underscore cutting underscore instructions method to display the instructions. How to use the code asterisk. 1. Copy the code asterisk. Copy the Python code into a text file, example block underscore pattern.py. 2. Install Python asterisk. Make sure you have Python installed on your computer. You can download it from python.org. 3. Run the code asterisk. Open a terminal or command prompt and navigate to the directory where you saved the file. Run the code using the command python block underscore pattern.py. 4. Adapt the code asterisk. The most important step is to modify the print underscore cutting underscore instructions method to match your specific pattern. Replace the example calculations with the correct formulas for the pieces in block 37. Beyond basic cutting instructions asterisk. This code can be expanded to asterisk calculate fabric yardage asterisk estimate the amount of fabric required for the entire block. Asterisk generate cutting layouts asterisk suggest efficient ways to cut the pieces from fabric to minimize waste. This would involve more complex algorithms and potentially image processing to visualize the layouts. Asterisk create printable templates asterisk generate PDFs of templates for odd-shaped pieces. Important considerations for Scrappy asterisk. Asterisk randomness asterisk. If you want a more organic Scrappy look, you could add some randomness to the fabric selection within the code. For example, you could create a list of your available fabric colors and have the code randomly choose a color for each piece. Asterisk value and contrast asterisk. Ensure that the code takes into account value and contrast when choosing fabrics. You might need to assign a value, light, medium, dark, to each fabric and have the code prioritize fabrics with contrasting values for adjacent pieces. Conclusion. Creating a Scrappy quilt block is a rewarding process that combines technical skill with creative expression. By understanding the fundamentals of piecing, paying attention to detail, and embracing the element of surprise that comes with Scrappy fabrics, you can create a beautiful and unique addition to your quilt. Remember to adapt the code example to fit the specific dimensions and construction of your mystery block 37. Happy quilting!